The main event of the evening, I'm very delighted and excited to introduce you to my friend, Anna Cordera. Anna and I met just very recently, actually, at another event, another Sana event. And immediately I was very impressed with everything that Anna shared about her work. She's been studying for the last several years the habits of very high performing people across business and culture. And she shares really cool things through her social media that honestly, in the short time that I've known her, I have felt very inspired to change the little things that I do in my day-to-day life because she shares what she'll talk about tonight. And it has always left me feeling very inspired. So I'm very excited for you to hear her perspective and experience with us tonight. So please join me in welcoming Anna to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. How are we doing? Good? Good? Okay, awesome. Well, as Lisa mentioned, my name is Anna. I am a creator under the name of Anna Builds Habits. So from that, you can probably tell what I talk about. And what I do is I dissect the habits of the most successful people in business, in culture, in sports, for you all and for myself as well, to learn how we can turn our scattered ambition into focused action. And the way that we do that is through habits. Now, I know that this talk today is about how we want to adopt habits and not think so much about New Year's resolutions, but I'm here to say no shame on anyone who has created New Year's resolutions. Raise your hand if you've created a New Year's resolution this year or in years past. Years past, okay, fair enough, me too. Now, raise your hand if you are also thinking, because I'm also thinking about this, that I am not exactly where I want to be. There's still so much potential that I think I can unlock in my life. Raise your hand. Okay, well, you're in the right room because that's exactly the blueprint that we're going to be talking about today. Now, I mentioned I dissect the habits of the most successful people. That's Emma Grede, that's Oprah Winfrey, that's Mel Robbins. You think about Serena Williams, Coco Gauff, Olympians, business moguls, Martha Stewart. What do they have in common? I'll tell you one thing. One thing that they all have in common is that they did not wait until January 1st to become who they are today. And when maybe they did create a New Year's resolution, that was not the catalyst for how they got to where they are. The blueprint that got them to where they are comes down to one simple thing: a recurring action. And that recurring action that is automatic and that affirms the identity that they hold today. And what is that? What's an automatic action? A habit. A habit. And so when you think about perhaps, for example, for yourself, when you brush your teeth, that's a habit, right? That's not something that you have to think much about because it's something that you were taught when you were young, that as personal hygiene, you have to brush your teeth. And it affirms that identity that you take care of yourself, that you are hygienic, that you are clean. And the same way that we can think about that for our daily habits, for brushing our teeth, brushing our hair, it's the same way that we can think about the habits necessary to build the lives that we want, to become who we want to become, to achieve what we want to achieve. So I'm going to break it down further of what a New Year's resolution is and what a habit is. Now, a New Year's resolution can be helpful in giving all of us the clarity into what we want to do, into who we want to become. But then it's the habit, the action, that matters most. So a New Year's resolution is outcome-based. I want to read more books. I intend to be more kind. I want to run a marathon. It's focused on the external, on the outcome. A habit is focused internally, on the inward. It affirms the belief or the identity that you believe about yourself. So let's use reading and running as an example. If you have that as a New Year's resolution, you want to maybe run a marathon, and you say, I want to run a marathon. That is my New Year's resolution. I encourage you to change that language to be an I am statement. I am a runner. I am a reader if you want to read more books. And sure, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel like you're an imposter. It's going to feel cringy. But I guarantee you that Coco Gauff, that Meryl Streep, that Steve Jobs also felt weird at the beginning when they were taking the actions necessary to become who they are today. And that's the process of becoming. The process of becoming is simply going through that wiggle. It starts to feel weird at the beginning. It starts to feel unnatural. You feel like you're an imposter. And then the action starts to feel a little more intentional. It starts to feel, okay, you've got a rhythm here. And then it starts to become automatic. From imposter, from feeling unnatural, to intentional, to automatic. That is the process of how you adopt a habit, of how you become who you want to become. But I also want to talk about identity, because that's what we're here, right? That's what we're here to talk about, identity and habits. And you think, well, how are they connected? If you think about it, if you think about your own habits, they affirm a belief that you have about yourself. They affirm an identity that you may not consciously know that you have about yourself, but it does. Why do you brush your teeth? Because you are a clean person. Why do you do the things that you do? Because you have a belief, an identity that you affirm day in, day out with the actions that you take on an hourly, on a daily, on a weekly basis. So there's also science to back this up. It's not just, the research I've done about all these amazing people that we look up to understand how they got to where they are. The science is there to back it up. A research study was done in Stanford a few years ago that essentially broke a group of people like us into two groups. And both groups were given a test. One group was told, do not cheat. Another group was told, do not be a cheater. Which group do you think had the least amount of cheating? Anyone? Shout. Don't be a cheater. Don't be a cheater. Why do we think that? Because no one wants to take an action that affirms an identity that we don't want to embody. And the inverse is true. In 2018, there was a marketing campaign conducted to encourage voter turnout for the 2018 midterm elections. And the marketing slogan was not, go vote, do your civic duty, like show up at the polls. It wasn't that. It was, I am a voter. I am a voter. Because the people that put together this campaign understood fundamentally the way that we operate, which is identity first, behavior second. Identity first, habit second. You want to run that marathon? Then you better start believing that you are a runner. And if you think, well, I haven't even run for more than 5 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, the very act of you doing it affirms that you are a runner. The very act of you reading 10 seconds affirms that you are a reader. So the idea that you are not someone because you simply haven't run more than 1 mile or read more than 2 books, that's out the window. You've done it for 10 seconds, right? You've taken the action. You are who you say you are. And the cool thing about all these people is that there's clear evidence that it works. There's a blueprint. There's a 3-step process. And that 3-step process that worked for Coco Gauff when she won the French Open last year works for you and works for me. It starts with clarity. Number 1, clarity, whether again they knew consciously or unconsciously that they were taking actions to affirm a specific identity that they had, they still took the actions because they had clarity to who they wanted to become. Yeah, okay, Martha Stewart didn't think that she maybe would have become Martha Stewart, but she wanted to do something. So her actions affirmed who she wanted to become. Coco Gauff, as I mentioned, she didn't win the French Open last year because she had more practice, more of a regimented diet. She didn't win for those reasons. She won because of her mindset. The day before she went onto that court, she sat down in her room and she wrote affirmations. I am French Open champion. I am the French Open champion, over and over and over and over and over again. She put that on her Instagram story. It's really cool. And when she showed up to that court, she didn't show up like a regular player that makes it to the finals. She showed up as a champion. So what happened next is her actions matched the identity that she believed that she had. Identity is sticky, behavior follows. There's a really good quote from James Clear. Who knows who James Clear is? Okay, he is the author of Atomic Habits, which is a book I highly, highly recommend for anyone who wants to get better at habits, which I assume it's all of us since we're all here. He has a quote that goes, "Every action I take is a vote for the person I wish to become." Every action I take is a vote for the person I wish to become. So even, let's take the grandiose ideas of what we want to achieve in this life. Just think about that quote and how it reflects about, what does it say about your daily habits? What does it say about your own daily, hourly behavior? Does it reflect who you want to become? If it doesn't reflect, this is the time to change it, because we're not going to wait for January 1st. We're not going to wait for March 1st. We're not going to wait for Monday. We're going to start today. And that's also the purpose of why you have all the handouts that you have at your chairs. You've got, number one, a past year reflection guide to help you reflect on who you have been in the past year. You've got a New Year reflection guide as well to help you dreamstorm, as one of my friends calls it, and think about what you want to do in this new year. And then you've also got a habit tracker to consider the habits that you want to adopt and track those actions, because it really matters at the beginning when you're embodying a new behavior that you are tracking towards consistency with your habits. So first step is clarity. And to go back to that example of running and reading, okay, you want to read 50 books this year. You want to run a marathon this year. After we shift the language to I am a runner and I am a reader, the question that can give you more clarity into how you should show up in the world is, how does a runner show up in the world? How does a reader show up in the world? A reader carries around a book probably in their bag. A reader creates time to read. A reader has a bookshelf. Simple as that, and a book. Let's even make it even more simple. They have a book. A runner, similar, has the shoes to run. A runner creates the time to run. A runner doesn't rely on motivation. They rely on their systems and their environment to go run. So they lay out all their clothes the night before to be able to go out of the house when it's freezing and raining and go on that run. So think about the identity that you want to become, but then think about the actions of that person and their habits. And then that can help clarify and be the compass for you as you think about what are the habits and actions to follow suit from the identity that you've chosen. After you've gotten that clarity, then comes the systems. Anna Wintour did not become Anna Wintour just by the way that she was born and just because she has two assistants. She became Anna Wintour because she is fanatic about time management, operational rigor, and organization. And as someone who's type A, who's a Virgo, that feels really good for me to talk about, but also at the same time, I recognize it may not be natural, but it is important. And systems is simply, a word to describe your calendar. It's a word to describe how you organize your notes in your notes app, or how you organize your bookshelf if you want to be a reader. Optimize your systems so that it's easy for you to look at your calendar and create the time to go and run, or to go and find time to read. Because at the end of the day, one thing I always come back to is that if you say, I do not have time, you are lying to yourself. We all have time. It's just a matter about creating the time for what we want it to be, of how we want to spend it. And how you want to spend it goes back to the quote that James Clear said, which is, every action is a vote for the person I wish to become. The way that you spend your time is a reflection also of who you wish to become. Clarity first, system second. The third and final part of this blueprint that I've learned from all the greats, Emma Grede, Serena Williams, and I still have so many other people to do, but the pattern is clear. The third thing is environment. As much as we like to think that we, are superhuman, we're not. We're not superhuman, and the temptation is real. The temptation is very, very real. That's okay. That's just part of being human. But when Arianna Huffington collapsed in a pool of her own blood from burnout and from overworking building the Huffington Post, first thing she did when she came home is it was time to go to sleep. She took her phone and she put it in another room, because she knew that if her phone was by her bed, she would be tempted to look at it and work during a time that's supposed to be for sleeping, for taking care of herself. And because at that point, the fact that she woke up in a pool of her own blood and she realized, I can't be this person, I have to be someone who takes care of their mental health, of their physical health, I have to sleep. She took the action to optimize her environment for it to support that identity of someone who takes care of their health. And physical environment is only one piece of it. There's social environment as well. If you want to think about, becoming, better with your personal finances, you better surround yourself with people who are open to talk about personal finances and who can, share feedback of how they're managing their personal finances. The same thing for if you want to maybe cut back on drinking. Consider the people that you are surrounding yourself with, because that is also a product. I mean, we've all heard it. You are a product of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And it's also digital. What is your digital environment? How does it reflect your habits and your identity? You think about Instagram, you think about TikTok. After this, go and declutter the people that you follow and curate your feed to support that identity that you are choosing to embody. So as we think about this new year, because it is, the Lunar New Year, we're one day in, with the year of the horse, and what the horse is and represents is a year of growth, of speed, of courage. Let's think about taking those desires of, I want to do this, I want to do that, I intend to be more kind, turn them into I am statements, affirmations, to have the clarity of who we want to be, and use it as a compass to affirm our habits and our actions that we take on an hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And the last thing I'll say is I want to leave you with just another recommendation, because it is simply just impossible to do this alone, which is why I want to further confirm and emphasize what Lisa said at the beginning, is that it really matters to have community around this, to have a partner or to have a group of friends that you feel comfortable and safe sharing that identity that you want to embody, because they will also support you in who you want to become. And when you have a little pod and accountability group, it just becomes easier to adopt a habit, in addition, of course, to doing the guides and the habit tracker. But I highly encourage that you all maybe meet someone here and exchange phone numbers and partner on this together, because it simply can't be done alone. So before we move into Q&A, I'll pass it over to Lisa.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna. That was wonderful. Before we move into Q&A, I thought it would actually be really helpful just to take a moment to really process what Anna talked about. And if you want to go ahead and close your eyes again for just another moment, and I want you to think about who is the person that you wish to become? Not an outcome and not a goal, but what identity do you want to move into in this next chapter of your life? And then as you think about that person that you are becoming, think about some of the small, consistent actions that you can take to support that identity. And then lastly, per Anna's talk, think about the environment. If there's any subtle changes that you could make. Okay, now that you've had a moment to think about that and how to apply it in your own life, you can go ahead and open your eyes. We're going to take maybe 10 minutes or so, and I want you guys to just do a group share. You guys can talk to the people next to you. You can feel free to move around, talk to someone you don't know yet, and just take some time to really talk about what the talk meant for you. You can process it out loud. You can talk to people to see if maybe something resonated for them that you hadn't thought of. And we'll give you guys a few minutes to do that together now.
So great. Oh, I'm so glad that you think so. Do you want to join our group? I'm so glad. Does anything spark for you? Who wants to start? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's almost done, okay? You know, yeah, Rafi, I'm really proud of you. Listen, do you want to go sit with Mama? Mama's in the back there. Do you want to sit with her? Yeah? Do you have a time by any chance? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I'm a runner already, right? I started this actually during COVID.
Okay, great.
Eating and just
Yeah.
He's doing great.
so a lot of weight. And then that triggered a lot of changes to my habits and
Yeah.
discipline and everything.
Huh?
So that one intention I set for myself
No.
was wake up early. That led to me
Can I have your phone if that's okay? Am I a billionaire? No.
stretch a little bit. So now I'm a 5 a.m. riser. I do my meditation first as soon as I wake up. Then I do my stretches. And then I go out for my run. And no matter, like you said, I'm prepared for the day before. So if it's going to be raining, I'm prepared accordingly already, right? So that when I wake up, I don't need to think about it. I'm putting on the right gear on and I'm ready to go. Same thing, even if it's snowing or if it's too cold, I'm prepared with my layers and my hat on. So when I wake up, I don't need to think about, oh my god, it's too cold, because I'm already prepared.
Yeah.
080119.
Oh, I'm so glad.
No. 08.
Setting that intention for yourself.
Yeah.
And then no matter what happens, sticking to that intention by being disciplined, doing what you need to do.
When Anna said cringe,
So it sounds like for you, becoming a morning person
kids say he's
kind of unlocked all these new habits that just helped positively your life.
Exactly. And it's
we get a photo of you doing your thing.
you're already feeling accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one
Yeah.
sense of I overcame
Oh, yeah.
my laziness or whatever. Sets you on the right mindset for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
You're ready to take on whatever comes.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
That's one habit that my parents always told me to do. And I did when I was
I feel like, well, okay, first of all, you're not, but also we're like the same height, so. You're so tall. If I say you're tall, I'm tall. I mean, same. How tall are you? Oh yeah, I'm 5'4". Yeah, same thing.
That's amazing. I love that. I'm also a morning person, so I agree. What about you?
There's just an article in the New York Times about men who do
intuition, right?
lengthening surgery. I know.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
They're not fine.
Mm.
Have you ever done your human design?
Yeah. So I like your.
You Google human design on your website. You put your date of birth, like the time they were
Yeah, I
born,
would love that.
when you were born in, and it's kind of like astrology.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it tells you, it spits out who you are. I had no idea what it said, so I literally put it in ChatGPT and it like dumped it down for me.
Like, you know, like the photos of like that first event, the 4 girls. No, just like post.
One of the
Yeah,
things
I feel like
is
that's
like
oh, okay,
covered
perfect.
my
Okay, great.
sacral authority, so my
Great.
intuition.
I love it. Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's funny because growing up, like
I agree.
whenever like something bad would
I
happen
think it's
to
good
me,
for
I used
events.
to say
I always see
you're a
like
bad
that, like
feeling.
Patrick
And what I
photo, you know,
learned
like
was
it's like
that
it's real, like
it was my intuition, like my gut instinct. Like whenever like I would start a job that wasn't for me,
You would feel it.
I would feel it. Like really, like
okay, cool. I love it. I love it too.
and
I like to post photos actually more than the candidates. I think candidates are good, But I think those, I think people look at it. Yeah, people look at it. Yeah, I feel like it's a chance to like honor them and like let them smile.
Envisioning myself in a different light. But again, listening to that intuition and having
And
your
also,
night,
sometimes
right?
in photos,
It's really
like
funny
candid
because
photos, they have
yesterday
their eyes
I
closed,
opened
or
up
they make a
my
weird face.
Instagram, and the first post that
that's
came up
smart.
was Reese Witherspoon with I love like I
Oh,
think
sweet.
that's a lot of like
Yeah.
power things. She was saying I was
Oh yeah, I mean,
with somebody
but not just your photos, like in general, candid photos. Yeah.
like trying to
Made a
talk
photo
out
of
of
this. This is so cute.
circumstance situation that they were in, and she asked him like, "What are you good at?"
Cute.
And the person couldn't come up with an answer.
Yeah.
And what she was saying was like, the gist of it was essentially like, when you're thinking about following something, like don't follow your dreams, follow your talents. And I love that so much when she put it in that perspective because I was like, wow. And then last night I'm on the couch thinking like, oh, like I'm stressing out myself, like trying to be this version of myself that I think I need to be because that's what I went to school for. Or whatever. But what am I good at? Like, what are my talents? And I was sitting there and I couldn't come up with something. And it was like a scary, but it was also a realization of like,
Have a crazy.
I'm good at talking. Like, I'm just like, I like to talk a lot.
You should ask your friends and family what your superpower is, what they think your superpower is, because it's often, sometimes it's hard. I find it for us to figure out what our own superpowers are. And the way that I found mine was because someone told me what mine was. And I was like, wait, that's so true. That is mine. And so I feel like a third party can be a good reflector to you, reflect back what you may not see, because also our gifts are often what is easiest for us. And because they come so easily, we don't think that they're our gifts. But actually, that's why they are our gifts, in my opinion. It's because they're so easy for us to do.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. Great point. The other thing, I love the quote that follow your talent, not your dream. However, it's great to know about yourself for self-awareness perspective.
I'll give you all another 2 minutes, and then we'll wrap up.
Version, which is whatever you want to be next. You have to dream. And like she said, you might be a good listener or a great leader today, but if tomorrow you want to get somewhere, then you have to also remind yourself that this is what I'm good at today, but this is where I'm going to push myself. Yeah. My 2.0.
So I'm curious for you both, what do you want to embody for the year? Who do you want to become? And it's okay if you don't know yet, or what comes up when I ask that.
So for me, up until October last year, I was way more balanced and like peaceful. Just because I guess I had things under control and there were certain parts of my professional and personal life which were all going great. And then suddenly, and I'm also trying to get back to school. So I've been going through this whole cycle and then it was just not working out. So the last couple of months have been where I'm focused more on why am I not getting what I'm trying to achieve, which is putting me in the spiral of, well, am I not good enough, or am I not trying enough, or why am I not getting the results? But I want to get back to the original habit that I had earlier before I started all this.
All right, we're gonna start wrapping it up.
I want to be peaceful with all my
I will
efforts,
encourage you. Can you
regardless
all
of my
hear me?
outcome. So I want to be I want to get back to a more peaceful and calm.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's also the power of identity. It puts the power back on you
we're gonna bring it
versus
back.
on the outcome.
While you're all still talking to each other, if you haven't already, I'll actually give you just about 1 minute. If you haven't already, share your content with each other. I know sometimes at an event, it can be a little awkward exchanging Instagrams with someone that you haven't met before. But this is how I've met so many incredible people in my life. So I highly encourage, if you haven't already, just exchange social media information. You don't necessarily have to like be best friends immediately, but as we're all coming to these events on a regular basis, and that's how we're really going to get to know each other. So I'll just go ahead and let you guys do that now if you haven't already done so.
I don't have my phone, but
But
we
I
can
added you
connect.
already.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
so you see me under Madu.
Okay, perfect. What is, yeah.
Show you my handle.
Okay.
That's me.
Madu Chow.
Remind me your.
It's Anna, A-N-A, builds habits.
So I follow you on my personal, and then I'm following
Okay,
you on
perfect.
my.
I'll follow you back, yeah. Wait, what is your professional?
So my professional handle is Flossy Lady.
Ooh.
All right, and I'm going to bring it back in, and we're going to bring Anna back to the stage for some questions. I guess everyone's still exchanging. All right. All right, cool. Thank you, guys. I always feel like with exchanging information, I feel like sometimes you just need permission, right, from like the facilitator, because sometimes it can be so awkward to ask. So I hope that was okay with everyone. But I'm going to bring Anna back up to the stage. If you have any questions, we'll take a few questions for Anna.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
So what got you into this? How did you get curious about starting
The Anna builds habits, or just generally dissecting the. I'm going to talk like Timothée Chalamet. Did anyone hear his speech last year when he received the Golden Globe? Or yeah, he wants to be one of the greats. I want to be one of the greats. I'm in my own pursuit of greatness, in my own definition. And the way that I'm approaching this is through studying what works for others. It's simply pattern recognition and applying it to my life and combining it with my gifts, which I know are storytelling and communication, which relate to content creation. So thank you. Yes.
So you spoke about that third pillar of the habit formation being environment. Somewhat more of a technical question around just how do you formulate like an environment for yourself that's conducive to creating content that's, for Annabelle's habit?
I think a lot of it is related to, for me, since I create content and I also have a 9 to 5 and all that, I have basically 2 workspaces. One where I try to do my content creation work, and it's by a window where I have, the light to film. And then I also have my dining table where I often sit and take those meetings. And having that separation is very helpful in my mind to know, okay, this is the room where I create, this is the room where I do the 9 to 5. And then also, it's about simply like the thought of I need to be who I want to be, and so I need to formulate my evening routine to match who I want to be in the morning, and that comes down to like having like my clothes laid out and stuff like that. Thanks for the question. Yes, Stella.
Love your talk.
Thank you.
So I really resonated with this idea of like the identity shaping then the behaviors, and something I think a lot about is like belief systems. And I feel like our belief system can make it hard for us to step into a new identity. Like,
Oh, yes.
You really want to say, I am a runner, but it's hard to believe that you are a runner. So my question, this is such a roundabout way of asking this question, is like, how do you see belief shape identity, and how does that impact our ability to take action?
We were actually kind of just talking about this in our circle here. It's often really helpful for a third party, someone else, to give you that permission when you don't feel like you can give it to yourself just yet. And we were just saying that for like discovering what our gifts are and superpowers. The way that I finally feel like I personally gave myself permission came after someone else gave me the permission to create content, because I had a lot of fear of being seen. And I worked with a mindset coach who told me, okay, you want to create content? Go do it. I'm giving you the permission to be who you want to be. So if you don't feel yet like it feels like you can't give yourself the permission for some reason, have a conversation about tonight with someone else. Maybe that they're not here, or maybe they are here, and just encourage them to think about where you are so that they can reflect back to you that you can become who you want to become. And then, of course, the other thing too is action follows what you believe. So find the person and then just take the actions. It feels weird at first. It feels like you're walking through mud, but it's what is going to make it sustainable and lasting. Thank you. Yes, Rob?
I have a question. So I think today there is a lot of visibility and I mean pressure to be seen, yes, but I think pressure to perform for being seen. So if you set a habit, say I want to be a runner, for instance, right? Like say you don't run for like 2 weeks. I think there can be this feeling of like I told these people I want to be a runner, I haven't ran for 2 weeks. So like and I feel embarrassed to even say I didn't run for 2 weeks. How do you not let that become paralyzing for you and psych yourself out from still committing to that identity, even if you haven't done it yet?
The world doesn't have to know just yet. The world doesn't need to know if you don't want it to share that out with the world. Like you don't have to post on LinkedIn that you're running the marathon if you feel like you're not ready yet to announce that. I do think it is important to share it with one person that will hold the space for you to fall down, for you to not run for 2 weeks, for you to maybe not ever run, but for you to feel encouraged and supported by that person, which comes back to the whole goal of this. It's community, it's finding that safe space, the person who can hold your dream and who you want to become and watch you through the process of becoming, because it is a very vulnerable process. It is very vulnerable. Yeah.
Can I add something on came to my head? I also think that we also sometimes think that we have to be this perfect version of a runner, and we think that the runner runs every day, and not necessarily, because the runner also needs some rest so that the body can reset and then be able to continue to run. So maybe it's not running every day, or even if you're like, you know what, I felt to be on my schedule, it's okay to acknowledge that and be like, you know what, I just didn't feel like it, but then you pick up again, and it's just about consistency and just staying. Like even if it's not every day, but
Yeah.
you have to leave, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we look at the Olympic athletes right now, right? Like, I don't think they're going down the ski slope every single day, right? They're making time to rest, they're making time to recover, they're making time also to take care of their mental health. But I do agree that often wanting to be this idealized self can be misconstrued for striving for perfection. And instead of striving for perfection, what I have done for myself is striving for excellence. And there's a clear difference between perfection and excellence. Perfection keeps you stuck. Excellence creates momentum and movement for you to continue on that path. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been so wonderful.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you.
I'm just curious what you would recommend for, I feel like there are multiple dimensions to the person I want to be that sometimes are in conflict with one another. So as an example, like I'm a mom of a young toddler, but I also have ambitions to like build up a social media presence in the news space and also want to be fit. And so it just, I feel like I'm having to choose every day one of those things that I can do kind of okay. How would you recommend approaching somebody, like figuring out how you prioritize things?
Yeah, that's a really good question. First, it's important to accept that we are multi-hyphenates, we are multidimensional, because we would be very boring if we were just striving for this one specific thing and also neglecting every other aspect of ourselves. What comes with that is just accepting imperfection, accepting that you may not be, posting every single day on your social media, but you may be present for your kids every single day, or you may not be present for your kids on Saturday because you're filming for your social media content. As long as your actions are matching a tiny bit of who you want to be, of those three identities, you can give yourself the permission to relax and to just continue on that. And it's not going to be a linear path. I think that is why I keep going back to the wiggle to visualize the becoming process. It's because it feels inauthentic, then it feels natural and you're on a stride, it feels intentional, but then, oh wait, what about being a mom, and what about creating content, and what about also taking care of myself? Then you go back down, but then you pick yourself back up once you feel like you've gotten a good week under your belt, and it's gonna go up and down, up and down, and down. What helped me last year when I was really focused on 3 specific identities were affirmations. And affirmations that helped me remember the identities I was striving to embody. And at times, for example, I was training for the marathon. And training for the marathon while having a corporate job and creating content and also, trying to be present partner is hard. So I knew that I had to let go of some of those aspects in order to make room for the other behaviors and habits of the other identity I was choosing to prioritize in that moment. The last thing I'll say about this is Sahil Bloom, another really good resource for everyone here who's interested in this. Yep, I see your head nodding. He has this idea that we live in seasons in our lives. And for some, perhaps your season right now is to maybe focus on getting pregnant or focused on getting a promotion. Give yourself permission to focus on that, on becoming someone who takes care of their body to allow for pregnancy. And don't feel like you have to do everything, like also strive for the promotion at the same time, also strive for creating, content, and also strive for running the marathon. Give yourself permission to be in that season of your life, have that one focus, and then allow for different seasons of your life. That is more broadly speaking about, years of seasons versus your situation, but I think it's also a helpful framework to think about identity. Yeah.
I was curious, what was your dream growing up to be, and what led you eventually on this path?
I dreamed to be a writer and to publish a book. And when I worked with this mindset coach, which I will give you the name because he is amazing, Ben Easter, Lucid Shift Coaching. He was like, "Why do you want to work together?" And at that time I had a podcast, and I was like, I really see myself like I don't know, like the Unwell Network, like Alex Cooper, like I want to be someone like that. And he said, okay, well, how are you building your podcast? And I was not building it. And then he was also like, okay, well, what else do you want to do? And I was like, oh, I want to write a book. He said, are you writing? I wasn't writing. So he really helped me, think about the identity and then be really honest with myself that my behavior was not matching that. And right now I'm in a season where I'm choosing not to write because I'm choosing to create a different type of content, but the dream is still there, is to publish a book. But Ben Easter, Lucid Shift Coaching, highly recommend.
I think we'll take maybe these last 2 questions.
Okay, perfect.
So starting to tell about that, I feel like now I'm the embodiment of doing everything that I wanted to do all at once. And one identity, and Estella said it's just one identity in many vessels. But I feel like one is taking a toll more than the other one. So I feel disappointed that I'm letting this one down. So I'm doing advertising, comedy, and I have a startup for kids. So I'm like, I feel super happy and super like fulfilled. But I know that advertising is taking a toll because I used to be super creative, but now my creative vessel is on comedy and kids. So I feel like I'm cheating on this, and advertising is what was paying the bills. Mm-hmm. So I have to take a step back and sacrificing maybe comedy or, so it's hard for me to let go. So I wanted to ask you, like, maybe seeing it as a season. For example, maybe I step back now and I can come back, but then I lose the craft and I lose the momentum. So I'm like, so many things.
Do you practice gratitude?
I'm starting.
Okay. I think every night you should write down one thing of each of these different identities that you are grateful for what you did that day, to affirm that. And I guarantee that you're going to start to rewire the way that you are currently seeing your lack of progress, or like something has to give. I do think, though, that in some way, shape, or form, you will have to be truthful and honest with yourself. Yeah, advertising is taking a toll. Okay, well, that's because I have only amount of finite energy in the day, and I'm choosing to spend it on comedy. As long as you are okay with that alignment of your actions and that identity, I think that's your answer, is acceptance and gratitude. Okay, I think we...
Do we have one more question here? Did you? Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
So my question is more about content creation and the monetization portion. I know you said you also have like a 9 to 5. I'm curious, like, how do you monetize with your content creation? If you don't mind sharing what you do for your 9 to 5.
I work in advertising, sales, and tech, and I am not currently monetizing. I would like to monetize. I've begun to create like a monetization plan, but it's in the very early stages because I want to continue to foster my community and my growth. But the way that my plan currently is laid out is just right now pitching myself to brands for brand deals and sharing with them my follower count, engagement rate, etc. Connecting with people in the creator economy, with people that work in influencer management at different brands, and just also having some patience with the journey. Now, my journey is very unique to someone else's creator journey because someone else may be going viral, 3 months into their journey. I have not yet, in 1 year into creating content. So my advice may be different from their advice, but I would say just at least have a few brands that you would want to reach out to for brand deals. Start to create a Shop My or a Like to Know It, which is for affiliate revenue, but also have like a long-term plan of why you're creating content. I'll share with you my plan to create content is not because I want to be a creator for my entire life. It's because I want to leverage the audience, the attention to then sell a product or service through a company. So ask also yourself, like, what game are you playing? Short-term game is maybe like brand deals, a lot of them. Long-term game is sacrificing a little bit of the monetization to begin with to really cultivate an engaged audience. Thank you all so much. This was really great. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Anna, and thank you all for such really incredibly thoughtful questions. We are going to wrap up, but before we close, I just want to put a call out for volunteers. These events right now are really very lean team over here. It's like mostly me doing this while my other baby naps, and then Gabby and Liz helping. But I'm always looking for people to help with social media, event check-in. Although, I'm sorry, I have to give a shout out to my wife over here, Inga, for doing check-in. Thank you, Inga. But if you ever want to volunteer for events, I would really love to hear from you. You can email me at lisa@sanasocial.com. And thank you all so much for coming tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.